goes on the Stugatz show and goes in here and gives his take on what he thought about Mike Epps and and the Shannon Sharpe situation and what's been happening of late. Then glossing over what he went through over the weekend with him basically attacking a child. Matt Barnes is a man that lives in a bubble of delusion. When you live in a bubble of delusion, you live in a narcissistic type of world. You're stuck in a box that you can't get out of. And that's what's happening right now to Matt Barnes. He's stuck in a world he can't get out of. And he's stuck in a lane, and he's going to continue to lie and come up with deception after deception to get people to continuously follow in his trap and his spread of lies. Now, when we start looking at the scope and the bigger picture, we start seeing that this is starting to take a life of its own. It hasn't been fun. And that everybody's angle and thoughts are starting to churn and change, not for the better. Oh no, it's getting crazy out here in these streets. So Matt Barnes had messed up because everybody's jealous of Shannon Sharpe's success. All these podcasters who's supposed to be, oh, it's enough room for everybody. Yeah, it is, until Shannon Sharpe comes out of nowhere and starts blowing up. Now, now it's like, oh, they throw all this shade. And like I say, Jack is just the minion. If Jack starts saying something, that's because Matt think it too. He only gonna follow Matt. And see, they with the DraftKings network. So they keep coming up, the Stugatz is there too. That's why he's on the show, to use this to try to, set his image up as this stuff dies down with him attacking a child at a basketball game. He attacked a high school kid during the game, and he wants to get away with that, get away from that. He don't want the attention of it anymore because it's not good for his image. Oh yeah, Matt's not happy about that. That's not going the way that it was supposed to go. Now, listen.
We got you coming up this Thursday. We're dropping your episode, so in 2 days we'll have your episode up. But as you mentioned, just really excited to get the process going. The responsibility of and the blessing to be able to create content for DraftKings and being able to partner with Metalark and just kind of see where it goes. I'm really excited. We actually got a chance to sit down in New York with each other a few weeks ago and really kind of fellowship and get to know each other better, and it made the partnership to me even stronger. So definitely excited to get the ball rolling in 2024.
Was that the episode you were thinking he was excited to promote?
I was not. No, you caught me off guard. It sounded like I was leading him to that. That was not the one I was talking
about. I got 3 hours with you, huh?
That's not the one I was.
So he wants to grow the Stugatz show. So then they start talking about Shannon Sharpe. And he starts saying it's all because of something Cat Williams said on the show. So he gets all into it, right?
So what do you have for us there? There's a lot of ground.
Oh man, yeah, that's a lot to unpack. I mean, first of all, definitely respect the lane that Shannon has created for himself and the attention he has drawn. And again, I want to say this without coming off the wrong way, because unfortunately, I don't look at anybody as competition, with all due respect. And I feel like there's a lane for everyone, and everyone's created that lane. And I feel.
Now, when they say that, some bullshit about to come. Now, he just said that, I don't want to, stir any, I don't want to cause no waves. Yeah, well, then what you saying it for then, Chief? What are you bringing it up for? Everybody get their disclaimer out before they say something that they know it's finna be out of bounds. And it's finna be a red flag. Did you see that? He started right away with his Matt Barnes, like,
First of all,
let me get political.
The lane that Shannon has created for himself. And
They always
the
start with
attention
that.
he's drawn,
I hate
and
that.
again, I want to say this without coming off the wrong way because unfortunately, I don't look at anybody's competition with all due respect, Dan. I feel like there's a lane for everyone, and everyone's created that lane, and I feel like there's plenty of money to come behind those lanes. But I feel like, obviously Shannon has taken off individually, and then him and Ocho have a great thing going on, but it's not necessarily our cup of tea, so to speak. It's a completely different lane, and you see now, obviously, the Cat Williams interview, I think, broke some kind of YouTube record for the most views. And I think that's great. I mean, that's a lane he's excelling in, a lane that he's getting notoriety in and getting money in, and that's great. But it's not necessarily what we are trying to do. We want to continue to kind of keep our lane, and not even that what they're doing is gossip, because I don't want to disrespect again what they're doing, but there's just a lot of different energy going on there, and people coming and talking their truths and telling their truths. And again, that's always great. Speak your mind. But again, that's not necessarily the lane we want to create,
Matt,
the lane we want to develop.
if I may interrupt you for a second, what you've created next to you and Stephen is everyone is walking into something they know is authentic, and from the jump, they're comfortable. They're comfortable in your interview setting. You're not professional
Right.
interviewers. You're trying to make them
Right.
comfortable.
But Matt is saying they become uncomfortable when he starts doing that stuff.
Well, what's that stuff though? Give
Gossip.
Okay, no, but it's
Yeah.
Wait a minute though, Matt. What Shannon?
Yeah, exactly. Now he's finna play devil's advocate. But he agrees with Matt. But he's trying to act like he doesn't by trying to play the devil's advocate when this other clown's coming in. Yeah, that stuff, that gossip. Dog, you was just in a beef with Stephen A. Smith, going back and forth with fake gossip. That's all the Stugots do is go over gossip. And it ain't like Shannon Sharpe came in there and asked them some questions to just kick off some gossip. They came in there and said, I got something I want to get off my chest. So now he knows somebody's got to be the voice for Shannon Sharpe here. We all can't be in agreement. So what the old Stugot is doing, the old Lebitard, what he's trying to do is play devil's advocate. Because all of them can't agree, even though they all do. So this way he tries to make himself look clean and make everybody else the bad guy. So if anybody have a problem with this and he run into Shannon, he'll say, did you hear what I said about you? So don't fall for the good guy, the good cop, bad cop situation. Everybody here is complicit. You see, that's how it works. That's how it works. Oh, that's the way they want it to run. They don't care. All right, how it looks, how it sounds, but listen to it.
Sharpe has now created, and this is not a small thing, is a place where black comics and black people feel like they can speak freely, even if it's tearing down others. Like there aren't a lot of avenues for that. There is value in that.
Absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I'm not even mad at that. Again, that's his lane, and he's the king of that lane right now. And I definitely respect that and wish him and his team, nothing but success. But to address the other side with Mike Epps is a good friend of me and Stack, and
here it is.
I got a chance to talk to him yesterday, and I was, I heard what they were talking about, and it was funny, but. To me, you just have to be careful. First of all, like you said, Dan, going at comedians, because comedians, they tell jokes for a living. They're going to make us laugh for a living, and all of us are cracking up. Just what Mike was saying and how he promoted his show at the end. But you also got to be careful, when you're doing a lot of that tough talk, because, Shannon is going to Indiana and Indy for the All-Star game, and that's where Mike is from. You know what I mean? So to be making those kind of threats and talking about, I'm going to see you here, I'm going to see you there, and then you're going to this guy's hometown, that's not the smartest thing. So I hope for the sake of all of us, because, people are fans of both of them, that they're able to just to have this conversation and kind of clear the air. But again, I think overall, I like what Shannon is doing. I like the lane he's created for himself and Ocho, and I wish those got nothing but success.
Matt, let's.
Now he's sitting there lying after he just said, "Oh well, what they're doing, we don't want to do all that. That's not what we do." But I want to wish them success. After trying to dump on them for what they were doing on their show. Now, the thing is that their show is failing because no one's really checking out their show anymore. All the smoke that lost Showtime, so they lost a lot of big push. DraftKings is the only thing holding them together. And they're trying to put out and promote other podcast shows and string them out and get them on this network that they're in. And now that they are basically trying to do it themselves without a big major, the show just has to have the right interest in the people involved. And the only way to grow podcast shows is to have guests. And when you don't have guests, this is the results of not having guests on your show. Your numbers start to drop. The fans don't. There's so many podcast shows going on. They feel like, well, they could watch it later, or the show is just so dull, it doesn't make sense to even watch it. It's just a waste of your time. So if you look at something like Matt Barnes and what he's doing, he's really just what you would call a waste of your time. Really, because he doesn't really add any value to the show at all, really. He just tries to sound smart and everything else. But he's just a man of anger, built in deep. And as he tries to run over and go through situations, they try to cover situations like with him at the high school, with him putting the hands on the kid. They were reluctant to even talk about that.
I want for you to be threatening to slap the shit out of me under any public or explain what you just saw there and the general distrust that can be found when you reach Shaquille O'Neal's level of superstardom.
I never got a chance to reach his level of superstardom, but obviously he had my time in the league, and this is no laughing matter, but I mean, we get PTSD from our experiences in the league, man. We've had ups and downs, goods, bads, greats, uglies. So there is kind of a trust factor that comes with sharing our experience. We can't share with just anybody. I'm actually in counseling now, and funny enough, my fiance and I kind of got an argument recently because I had something really serious going on, but until it really until I really had a plan for it, I didn't share it with her either, because I'm from the old school like Shaq. We deal, mighty is the shoulder that wears the crown. So, as a man, we do have to deal with a lot, and we do have to put up with a lot, and there's no crying, there's no making excuses, there's no poor me. It's get it done. And I think that's very common in the Black community. So
yeah, that is
Shaq spoke a language that a lot of us former athletes and I think a lot of Black men in general speak, not really necessarily having the wherewithal.
Now let's talk about you attacking the kid.
God, I want better for you. Be left alone.
No, I think Shaq, and again, I'm guessing that Shaq has plenty of women. Maybe he just may not have a main one or fiance or wife, but Shaq has never had an issue getting women. I think, but what it comes down to is, again, having prior situations where he probably was comfortable enough to share blow up in his face. And I've had situations where I was comfortable enough to share in my past relationships where it did blow up in my face. So again, I see both sides. I see Monique's side, but I also understand Shaq's side because I've lived Shaq's side. So again, it's a lonely world out there sometimes when you get in a position to where we've been. But also, I would recommend, obviously, finding someone to be able to open up to, because we go through a lot. We have a lot on our plate, and it is really hard to carry that day in, day out, all by yourself. And Shaq says he has his way of dealing with that he didn't necessarily share.
South Beach
3 hours.
session, not 3 hours, just a couple of hours for the most recent South Beach session, and he talked about some of this stuff and told some of the most amazing stories that I have heard, because he too has been.
It was a championship, and my kids' team was picked to finish 8th out of 8, and somehow they found themselves in the championship against Harvard Westlake, who was a nationally ranked powerhouse. So I was yelling at the refs, Dan. I yelled at the refs my entire college career, my 15-year NBA career. I coach AU in the summertime. I have high school boys, and I have a 5-year-old coming down the pipeline. So I'm going to be doing a lot of yelling at the refs. But this particular incident, this kid right here, and I will say my one mistake was putting my hand on his shoulder. A lot of people want to say I grabbed this kid or I did this. I literally put my hand on this kid's shoulder because he, you know, it was almost like I was talking to my son. You know what I mean? He told me to sit my ass down, and I was just like, you know, why do you feel comfortable enough to feel like you can tell a grown man to sit his ass down? So he and I had a little back and forth, and, you know, again, obviously admitting my faults to even touch him was wrong with me, but I want to make sure it's clear that, you know, the narrative of me is some guy that beats up people, and I want to make sure people know I didn't body slam this kid, I didn't choke slam him, I didn't do any of the sort. I literally put my hand on his shoulder, like, you know, like I was talking to one of my sons, and again, for that, touching him, I was wrong, but I just didn't like the disrespect that came with the entitlement where they felt like they could say anything to me. Not only did that kid say some slick stuff to me, but there was a woman in the stands who actually, they caught a picture of flipping me off saying, "F you, bitch." And I'm just like, wow, like you really feel that you could just say anything to me? And again, as you can see the video, I wasn't talking to their team. I wasn't talking to their players, their cheerleaders, their fans. I was talking to the refs. The foul calls were 25-9 in that game. So I was well within my right to be yelling at it. But, you know, Dan, we live in a world now where perception is
Now, he's right back to blaming someone else for his actions. He didn't just do this. He got into it with everybody over there. Nobody heard the kid say that except for Matt Barnes. And not only he's the only one to ever hear those words, he's the only one to say that, oh, this woman said F you and all that. Like, he was not cursing back at the kids, threatening to slap the kids, and everything else. And DraftKings still has him employed. Ain't that something? What's with these betting companies that don't care about the actions of what former athletes do? They're just like, okay, well, that's water under the bridge. Keep going. That's unbelievable. He's right back to work. They got him on the Stugotz show, and here he is promoting himself as the nice guy, and it's the lady's fault, it's this kid's fault, and no matter what the calls were, you're just a fan. You're not the coach. That's the coach's job. For you to be on the floor screaming curse words at a high school game where there are kids at over calls, it's not acceptable. Argue over calls all you want, but it's how you say things. You know, you got a 90-year-old grandma sitting there and watching you just be just totally disrespectful. It was awful. And I felt bad for anybody who was in attendance. That was an awful sight. Oh yeah, this is only for commentary purposes, only Fair Use Act. We're only using this for commentary. We're not showing the entire episode of the Stugotz. We're just really using this for fair use.
Reality, and if the narrative fits, and, you know, I am someone who has had a background of handling business, you know, so again, I didn't want this to get blown out of proportion. I even hesitated speaking on it because it has died down, but I just want to, you know, first of all, say, you know, apologizing for touching this kid's shoulder. I should have never touched him, but I did want to know why he felt comfortable enough to tell me to sit my ass down, and then I also wanted to know why the lady in the stands felt comfortable enough to say "F you, bitch" to me. But again,
because you were acting like a bitch. That's why she said it. I know why she said it. She was absolutely correct. You up there attacking a child, man. So if you were sitting there going after a child, she had every right to do that. But like I said, he takes no accountability, no responsibility for the whole incident when he created it. No one would have said anything if you didn't do what you did. You acted like a complete moron. And now you want to use your privilege and your power and fame of being Matt Barnes. You're going to get in another incident because you're too stupid not to. This is how you got fired from ESPN. See, DraftKings, they're just a gambling site, so they don't care what you do. You could chop someone's leg off and they still have you back to work on Monday. No one even knows who's running that operation. And that's how these gambling sites are. And that's why they're dangerous. Because they just allow people to do the dumbest shit and still allow them to go to work on Monday. No accountability is had. So you got misfits running the damn organization. They don't realize what's bad for the brand. And old Becky with the good hair got old Duke Sporting Wave, Murray's wave grease in there. This dude done used the whole can. Old greaseball head bastard. Now we see. Hit the like button too, good people. Now we see what's going on here.
I didn't get any of those answers.
Clearly,
and it kind of is what it is.
Clearly, Matt Barnes in the wrong here, an out of control menace filled with fury and reputation.
Oh, already know. Yeah. Already know.
But 25-9, Matt. I mean, that's
ridiculous, right?
Ridiculous.
I mean, you understand,
Yeah,
right?
Ridiculous.
You completely understand.
Matt, did you burp earlier?
Yes, there was a tremendous burp. There was somewhere in there I was asking you a question. I heard someone burp, and I thought it was Greg Cody with Vegas.
Yeah, it was.
But was it Greg Cody or was it Matt Barnes? There was a tremendous.
No, it wasn't me.
Oh.
I haven't ate nothing yet. So
all right, so it was Greg Cody.
So sorry. Somebody burped, man. It was the biggest burp in show history.
So that was your contribution to the Matt Barnes conversation.
It was a good burp, though.
Okay.
Yeah. Burping it.
All the smoke productions on YouTube. We do want to mix.
Look at that. All the smoke productions. So he shades Shannon Sharpe on his show. And he shades him for a reason. Shannon got 2 shows. 2. That is killing the game. Now, they thought Nightcap would, it'll do all right. But Nightcap start killing. And now that's taking more money away from them. More people are interested in Shannon Sharpe and what he's got going on. And they like, man, that's killing what we got going on. They ain't checking for us. They checking for Shannon. And they was like, oh, that's because he got all that gossip stuff going on. Now, here's the thing. The Cat Williams video took off. Shannon Sharpe had no idea Cat Williams was going to start off going off like that. At all. But once he did and it took off, then they had Monique on there and she started telling the truth. And they already know Shannon Sharpe, even though he has a relationship with these people, Shannon Sharpe is not all the way Hollywood like these people. They're cool with Shannon because Shannon is in those rooms. He's been in those parties. He's been at those meetings. So he's a safe guy. He's a former athlete that's coming from a journalistic standpoint, and everybody was cool with him. So he had mostly former athletes on there and people that were comedians and, entertainers. Whenever they had a chance, they was like, well, Shannon's not the media. Shannon's one of us. He's a good guy. We can trust him. So you can have Dwight Howard. You can have Dwayne Wade come on the show. It's good for your brand. It's everything. So it's not a mudslinging contest. It's when the comedians got up there and they wanted to air their grievances. But now they named some powerful players in the game. So when you start mentioning powerful people in the game, now you're looking at it in a dark light. They look at you in a different lens now. Now you're not the guy they thought you were, and all this crap start coming out of nowhere. So Yeah, no one told Matt Barnes to go attack a kid. He chose that. Nobody said, hey, Matt Barnes, why don't you go over there and tell the kid you're going to smack the S out of him? Where'd that come in at? Whose fault is that, Matt Barnes? Hmm? That's you. You saying all that goofiness. So I have no sympathy for Matt because Matt does this all the time. He spit on a guy, spit in his face, everything. It's like how many chances are they gonna keep giving Matt Barnes? The dude almost killed a woman in a club, choking her out. And the girl's boyfriend was attacking Matt, and Cousins had to lay him out and almost break his hand, hitting the guy in the face and knock that guy out cold. And then you're on TMZ bragging about it at the end of the night. You didn't fight not one guy. All you did was sit there and fight a woman. And you were boasting and bragging. The only time you claimed you were going to fight a man is when Henson, a former NBA player, after a game, you want to get mad enough to foul him because you got ejected and got your second technical foul. They ejected Henson, and he just wanted to show you ain't the tough guy that you say you are. So then you want to go in the back and fight. Instead of proving, you were a great basketball player, you want to prove you was this tough guy that you wasn't. It's foolish, so he's built up on a fake rep. I was like, don't nobody have no record of Matt Barnes doing anything on the streets. But when he ran down on Derek Fisher, and man, he whooped Derek. Derek was up there at camp the next day. No marks on Derek Fisher whatsoever. That man don't have a bruise on his face, nothing. He got hella recuperative powers then if you gave him the beatdown of a beatdown that you claim you did. Hit the like button. I told you, these dudes be lying in their own stories. Right, he's the loser in that situation. He's mad, like Kwame said. He's probably mad because Derek Fisher, got his ex-wife. He's a better father to the kids. They call him dad. He was Uncle Derek. Now they call him dad. They was like, can we call you dad? That's it. That gotta hurt. That hurts. Your twin boys love living over there. They love Derek. He's great with the kids. And they love him. He their coach. He came to coach the Little League team. Absolutely. Now, when you start doing this type of stuff here, and you got like DraftKings Network, and right now DraftKings is just trying to grab as many shows as they can to see if any of them pop. They got a bunch of garbage shows, and then they have some that's worth something. They're like, look, we just need a network, so we just gonna throw all these shows together and just throw them out to the public. But Matt wanted to go ahead and disrespect and diss Shannon Sharpe because they know they got to try to say we're different. We're not like Shannon Sharpe. Shannon Sharpe is this and that, but we're different. How? How are you different, Matt? That's what I want to know. How are you different? What's so different about you? You hear that? He different. How? What is different about Matt Barnes? Nothing. And this is why all of these guys here, they like living in the glass house. Because they don't have this energy with anybody else. They always had this energy for those guys on top. He would have never said what he said about Shannon Sharpe until Club Shay Shay, which was already whooping a show. Now it just went through the stratosphere. Instead of saying, that's my guy Shannon, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to try to go on Club Shay Shay myself and probably, help my brand out. They are too egotistical. And like Shannon said, y'all been hating on the sideline, and I've been noticing all the stuff y'all been saying and all this hating from the sideline, and I wasn't in your way. When it was y'all turn and y'all was doing good, I ain't say nothing. But now I see how it is. Ain't no love in this podcast game. They starting to see that right now. Shannon is learning that these dudes ain't really cool with you like you think they are. They cool with you as long as you are right there. Right. Like I told you, people cool with you because as long as you're in a position that they feel you should be at, they cool. Once you start doing better than them, then here come the jealousy, here come the issues, here come the problems. Everybody gets jealous. That's what they do. These dudes get super jealous in this business. I literally don't care what another person does, and they don't understand that. These dudes be sitting here like, no, everybody got some jealousy in them. Jealous for what? My thing is, if it ain't affecting me, why do I need to be jealous? That's where the problems come in at. It's not affecting you. It's not affecting your bag. So why would you be jealous? There's no need to be. Like nothing Shannon Sharpe did in that interview even occurs or even have a problem with Matt Barnes. So for him to have a negative comment about any of it to try to make his show look good, like, we just don't do that, that's their thing, and it looks like it's going in that direction, where it's like, and the Stugotz, like, they wish they was doing those numbers. The Stugotz is its own little weird thing, and whatever it is, like, I don't watch really the Stugotz at all. I just knew Matt Barnes was addressing the situation, so I stopped in to see what was going on. But the Stugotz, it's Dan Lebertard, doing what he does, BSing all day, playing devil's advocate, being a shock jock. But I saw that. I heard that shot they took by trying to say, oh, Shannon Sharpe got all these black comedians. Black comedians. You see how he said that? Black comedians come up there. Never have I ever have heard them say they have smoke for Joe Rogan. Right? Oh, Joe Rogan don't have controversy on his show. Really? He don't? Since when? It's just that his show, they all cool with. They know they scared to say something about Joe Rogan's show in this business. You see? It's all about who you like. He's had a lot of controversial guests on his show. But they never say nothing about old Joe, do they? You see, what's scary is that the scene has changed. Now you're seeing a show that did 50 million views. So the narrative's changed. This show did 50 million views, meaning not Kwame Brown's, but Shannon Sharpe's Club Shay Shay interview, almost 60 million right now with Cat Williams. 60 million views, the largest viewed podcast episode ever in YouTube's history. 60 million just for the long viewing interview. Beat out Joe Rogan's record. Now, what's scary about that to them is that that was two black men having a conversation. Two black men having a conversation for 2 hours, going back and forth, can do 60 million views. Now your narrative don't work. Now your narrative don't work. Your narrative of, well, you know, the white people gotta relate. No, the people will see it. They don't feel a certain way. They know what's up. Now your narrative don't work. That black people can't generate the views. Black people can't do this. Black people can't do that. Now that narrative don't exist. So now you need a new lie. So now you got to tear that down. Because it don't make sense. Now do it. They just proved you wrong. That if it's interesting, people will watch it. It don't matter of color. So why did you, Dan Libertard, say black comedians? As all Steve's guests, all Shannon Sharpe's guests are just black comedians. Did you ask Joe Rogan why he got white comedians on his show? Oh, he's just building that up off white comedians. No, you don't. I wonder why, Dan Libertard. Didn't I tell you they all was complicit? Dan was trying to act out what he was doing, is trying to defend what Shannon was doing because he was playing devil's advocate. He's trying to play the devil's advocate so they can have that conversation back and forth. And then he knows he's going to throw all of this on Matt when Shannon Sharpe go Black Hawk on him. They already know he gets angry, so they know how they can try to poke at him and get him frustrated so he can do something stupid to trick himself out of his position. And these are the people that look just like him, same complexion as him, everything. They're going to come after him now. Bomani made that show because he made sense out of it. That's why when him, his dad, and they had the show adding Bomani on there, Bomani made the most sense. He the one made common sense out of all the stupidity that you heard from Dan Libertard. And I don't know what the hell Pops was doing on there, but I know some of the people like Pops. Man, Pops crazy. I just thought that was a waste of time of the show. Hit the like button, by the way, people. Yeah, they've sabotaged a lot of my viewing streams lately. I've been noticing that. At this point, I don't know what they're gonna do next. I know that they're gonna do the shows. He did an interview on All the Smoke, Dan Levitard, and they're gonna air that. So this is all the lead up promotion to that episode. Yeah, I know, right? So I didn't want to make it a super long live stream like we've been doing, like an hour every day on these lives. But this one don't need to be an hour. It was just to point out the hypocrisy of what Matt Barnes is doing and how he passes the buck onto a high school kid and a lady in a crowd. So it was their fault. It's Shannon Sharpe's fault, but he likes what he's doing. You know, puts his disclaimer out right before he comes in and stabs him in the back. These people, I just really don't get it sometimes. You know, to me, it's really a dangerous situation when you see all of these other people that come in and they do these different acts and they don't realize what they really doing, and they, you know, sabotage people like Kwame Brown, myself. I've seen Ticket go through it, Armando Black go through it, Welcome to HDIITV, he went through it, Jag Sports with Jose Rodriguez, he kind of went through it, and they put you in a hole if you're not careful. And it's hard for people to get out that hole. It's hard. They have a hard time clawing and scratching, making things happen. Now I got to do some stuff I don't like. And then I'm going to go and update the Patreon. Don't forget, on the Patreon, we have the exclusive interview with Boo Thang's, Shannon Sharpe's Boo Thang. We got Boo Thang. And Boo Thang is on the Patreon. VIP Patreon members only. You get to hear what Boo Thang got to say about what old O'Shea had to say about Boo Thang and why Boo Thang had to be fired. Woo-wee! And they say Sino don't got no connections. Nobody in the world got Boo Thang on an interview, not TMZ, not the Shade Room, not World Star. Nobody got it but me. So I'm out. Thank you for your time. And I do not like these new features.